What's up guys, or marhaban as they say in Egypt. Welcome to our video session on ancient Africa.
Today in our video, we will be concentrating on the ancient Egyptian creation story, as well as the god and goddesses in ancient Egypt, from 3100 BCE to 332 BCE.
Here we go!
The world was made in 7 days. Each day a new thing was created. This date was called None. None was a pretty boring time period, but things were about to change.
On the first day the creation started, an island began to come out from under the water, and along with it came the first god, Atum. Many sources said that he was the sun god, who had another name, which was Ra, and those names were to differentiate the stages of the sun during the day. He was the god who created the formation of the world, seen as the paramount force of creation and the master of life.
Then on the second day, 2 other gods appeared, Shu the god of air and Tefnut the goddess of moisture, who were married. Shu and Tefnut had 2 children. Their names were Nut and Geb. Geb was the god of the earth, and Nut was the goddess of the sky.
On the third day, Nut was lifted by Shu, hence making a canopy over Geb.
On the 4th day, Nut and Geb married against Adam's order, and so they were to be separated. However, Nut was already pregnant. She could not give birth because Ra stopped her magically from having a child. But on the 5th day, Thoth, the god of learning, helped her gamble with the moon to get an extra 5 days of light on which she could have had her children. Their names were Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys.
On the 6th and 7th days of the creation story, there was the creation of life. Khnum created life on earth. He made animals out of clay on his potter's wheel. He ordered the bloodstream to cover the bones and make the skin enclose the body. He then made the respiratory and digestive system. And that is pretty much it on how life and the world was created according to the Egyptians. This is arguably the most important part of the Egyptian creation story, seeing how this was the basis of the birth of not gods but rather normal people in Egypt.
Now we will talk about some of the gods. Nut was one of the main gods who was believed to be the sky goddess. Her body formed an arc across the sky and she was dressed in stars. At night she swallowed Ra, the sun god, and gave birth to him the next morning, which explains the geological occurrence of day and night. Ancient Egyptians believed that her job was to protect them from darkness outside of Earth and the malignant creatures out there.
Isis spent a lot of her time with the people who followed her. She taught them how to do things like grind corn, make bread, and weave clothes. She was also a very large feminist.
Osiris was the god of vegetation, fertility, and regeneration. He had the power over the dead as well as the power to grant life from the underworld, including sprouting vegetation. He was the husband and brother of Isis, and they had 3 children together, Ra, Amun, and Horus.
Ra was originally the sun god and people worshipped him across the land. Many pharaohs worshipped him, but they weren't out in the fields working all day in the sun. The pharaohs believed that when they die, they will go to Ra. He was often depicted with a sun disk over his head, or even having his entire head replaced by a falcon's head. And that is about it for Ra. Here's our summary. The world was created in 7 days. Each day a new thing was added, starting with the land, and ending with the creation of life other than gods. This is a family tree. There were 5 main gods and goddesses in the creation story. Nut, Atum, Ra, Osiris, and Isis. Each were responsible for creating a new thing on Earth.
So that's about all the time we have today. We hope you feel more informed. See you next time.
Yeah!
Please hang up and try again.